You could consider this seat being a pretty good one, but this one right here can be just as good. The BYU performers will have to act, sing, and dance in such a way so that even a person in this seat can fully appreciate the show. He also said that a balanced budget amendment is essential to restoring the original and proper role of the federal government, and mentioned how the Congress should be limited to what they can do with our money. Miniature trucks won't be the only size BYU students will be working on. They also go full size. BYU students have put together this Formula One car that can go from 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. Y mi llamada va directamente a teleoperadoras como las que pueden ver. Estas teleoperadoras nos informarían de cualquier pregunta que tengamos sobre las leyes de la legislatura y además también nos darían información de cómo contactar a sus mandatarios. But many say it's not always about the shine or the beauty on the outside of the car. The companies here at the Auto Expo want to make sure you recognize the inner beauty.
BYU Daily News reporter Javier Misiego was on the scene. Javier, what started this whole thing?
Well, the crew members of the United Airlines Flight 741 found a threatening note that forced the plane to make the emergency landing in Salt Lake City. This prompted a massive law enforcement response. 168 passengers stranded at the Salt Lake International Airport kept telling each other how happy they felt to be out of that plane. Their flight plan was from Denver to San Francisco, but 45 minutes into the flight, the captain had a disturbing announcement.
It sounded like his voice was about to quiver, like he was about to cry or something. And he said, there's been a viable bomb threat.
The note on the beverage tray had enough information for the crew to consider it a valid threat, and shortly after, they diverted to Salt Lake City, where police and FBI agents checked the luggage and screened each passenger.
Sequestered us in the Immigration and Customs Office in the International Terminal for 2.5 hours. No cell phones, no texting, no nothing.
Some of the passengers complained about how long authorities took to clear them from the plane.
I was really frustrated for the fact that there is a bomb threat and we sat in the plane for 30 minutes. I was hoping they can just evacuate us right away.
All passengers eventually collected their baggage and got on another flight to California. Even though this turned out to be nothing more than a scare, the passengers took it very seriously.
I think after this experience, I would value my life more. I appreciate my family and friends.
No criminal charges so far, and the FBI hasn't released any more information, saying their investigation is ongoing.
Javier, what should people do if they find a note like that on a plane?
Well, hopefully, we don't get to that point, but if you ever do find a note, Homeland Security suggests a few things. One is to not touch the note because that could destroy evidence. Another one is to give it to a crew member so they can do their job, and remain calm at all times.
Thanks, Javier.
Thanks. That's right, Casey. New York may be thousands of miles away, but BYU students are bringing it Broadway style all the way out of the ballpark and onto the stage with the musical Casey at the Bat. These performances bring the tale of famous ball player Timothy Casey to life on stage as a full-length family musical. They are staging this upbeat theatrical production for the very first time. Creator and writer of the musical Tom Child was excited to see his own show finally perform.
So to actually see it at this level with a full cast and the amount of time they spent on it, which is wonderful.
The bases are loaded with catchy songs, dances, romance, villains, and even fights. The cast says their main goal is to have this message hit home.
The importance of home and love and family and finding a home wherever you are, whether your family's close by or not.
Just like in a real baseball game, the audience sits all around the action. You could consider this seat being a pretty good one, but this one right here can be just as good. The BYU performers will have to act, sing, and dance in such a way so that even a person in this seat can fully appreciate the show.
You have a responsibility to every audience member to make sure that they have an opportunity to be brought in and invited.
The show premieres tonight and goes until April 2nd. For more information on dates and times for Casey at the Bat, pick up your Friday 411 here on campus or visit the 411.byu.edu. That's your Friday 411. Back to you.
And the uprising in Egypt also impacts the lives of some here in Provo. And 11 News reporter Javier Misiego met with some people from Egypt that live here now. And Javier, how is this affecting them?
Well, Kaylee, not being able to communicate with them is pretty tough. But on top of that, not being able to help them, being so far away from them, it's pretty frustrating. Although they do agree on one thing, it's time for a change. After 30 years of President Hosni Mubarak's regime, millions of Egyptians say it is time to change things, whatever the price may be. Violence and street rebellions keep many Egyptians living here in Utah worried about their home country and family, including the Salah family.
For the past 72 hours, we haven't slept, me or Ahmed. Like, we're just like watching TVs, like
24/7.
24/7. We didn't sleep
24/4,
like
I guess.
for maybe like for 1 or 2 hours, just like, you know, when we just like collapsed, you know. But other than that, we couldn't sleep. I feel like I have like a constant jet lag. You know?
Atif El Nagar is a visiting professor at BYU from Cairo and has 3 children and a wife back in Egypt. One of his biggest concerns, communicating with his loved ones.
Yeah, sometimes I can't call anyone. Sometimes, you know, there is no any connection with there, and but not all of the time, and not all of the areas in Egypt. Actually, there is some areas, you know, completely cut down or nothing there.
Although they still don't know what will take place in the near future, they all see it with optimism.
Would appreciate to see is him standing up and saying, you know what, I'll step down.
Yeah.
I love this country or whatever. I want to see this. I want to see him standing up and saying, I will step down.
We hope to hear something in the future. Something good, yeah.
President Mubarak has not resigned despite the gathering that took place today, where 250,000 people gather in Cairo's main square to say that they've had enough. It's time to go.
Wow. Well, Javier, let's hope that the families of the people that you talked to are safe.
Let's hope so.
Thanks.
Thank you.
The 2011 Utah State Legislative Session opened with a new speaker and lots of controversy already on the docket. And 11 News reporter Javier Misiego was there when the gavel fell. And Javier, what issues are they discussing?
Well, Caitlin, they're discussing a few issues like the state budget cuts, the education funding, and of course, the immigration laws, which are in the hot seat. Although this year's session started in a different style, a standing ovation. It is the first time in history that a woman is Utah's Speaker of the House. Becky Lockhart of Provo began her duties right away, working on the first bills of the session. Lockhart says lawmakers face tough challenges from an economy still recuperating to health care reform and the state's relationship with the federal government. They'll also debate education funding and budget cuts, which Lockhart referred to as dangerous, an imbalance produced by the end of federal stimulus funds. Elsewhere in the Capitol, more than 30 members of religious communities in Salt Lake signed a letter calling on the United States Congress to pass humane immigration laws. This letter addresses the issue of immigration in the state of Utah and expresses why these religious members are demanding that Congress take a more serious role in finding a solution. They call it the nation's broken immigration system.
The proposed heightened enforcement measures which will only create a culture and climate of fear.
In other words, when illegal immigrants or the children of illegal immigrants, when I care as much about the children of illegal immigrants who live in my community as I do my own children, then I will come up with a better answer to what to do with them.
We will be following closely the topic of immigration at the Capitol since lawmakers will have to work on 24 immigration bills.
And so, Javier, what is the next step for these religious leaders that are concerned about immigration?
Well, some of them said that the only thing they can do right now is just wait for Congress to either make this a federal issue or a state issue. Some others said that the only thing they can do right now is just keep praying for the best.
Definitely. All right, thanks, Javier.
You bet.